Like we've moved now to a global, a global economy that's not tied as closely to the rhythms of the seasons and the weather and the crops, and then people are trying to make more and more and more money.
Right.
And that requires all of us to accelerate the pace of life.
Right.
And there's no differentiation in the global economy between a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. All of those are times where if you're in labor, you're producing things, and if you're consuming things. And so there's no rest in our global economy. It is 24/7, 365, and that presses upon all of us in ways that I don't think we even realize. It presses on our local community lives, our religious lives, our social lives. And so it puts a lot of pressure on us as individuals to try to find our rhythm.
Yeah.
And I confess that oftentimes I suck at it. I'm just being honest. Like I've struggled with it because I think there's been a collapse of these communal forms of rest. And, growing up, did you have that rhythm? Did your family or your culture or your church, did everyone stop on a particular day? Were you able to kind of resist the cultural forces?
No, we didn't. And I think the more I read, people that have really studied the Sabbath, John Mark Comer comes to mind as somebody that I feel like, he has written and researched and labored over helping people understand God's intentions for Sabbath, the fact that he calls us to it and that he models it himself. And so I relate to you that our story growing up, typically you thought Sabbath was, Sunday, and that it was to go to church, and then we were to spend time with family, but we didn't really practice what it meant. And so I think there is this disconnection between this foreign concept of what Sabbath used to be, kind of this description that you gave from the scriptures, and then this modern day, how do I actually practice the kind of rest that Jesus invites us to that's connected to him? And I think there is a disconnect. So for me, Sabbath has looked differently through different seasons, but it almost always centers around spending time with Jesus, actually stopping the work. So like not checking my email, not checking my phone, disconnecting from the things that kind of pull me, towards a work mode. And then intentionally being with people that I care about being with, that are life-giving, that fill me up, versus life-taking. Not everybody is life-giving relationships. Sometimes it's life-taking. That doesn't mean that they're not important to spend time with. But for me, it's recognizing what's life-giving and what's life-taking, and kind of finding the balance of that. What brings me and fills me closer and is restorative to my soul, that's going to be like a walk, or good food with good people, a good book maybe read outside. Just it can look so different. And so in our reading plan in the very back, you'll just see some template form of how potentially, if you want to start practicing Sabbath and practicing rest in a more intentional way, taking Jesus up on his invitation. Are you tired? Are you burned out? Are your burdens heavy? Come to me. Well, come to me can look different for each person.